What's going on, people? This is your boy Michael O, your Chief Motivational Officer. Listen, I am excited to bring you a brand new podcast, Moving Mountains, hosted by myself. Find me on Spotify, find us on iTunes, find us on YouTube. Connect with us, Moving Mountains Podcast. Beautiful people, it's another Wednesday. Welcome to Moving Mountains Podcast. I'm your host, Michael O. This is another episode of Wisdom Wednesdays. This is when I have a guest with me. I have somebody who is well achieved. And today I'm excited about the guest that I've got on. I know I say that every week when I have a different guest on, but I'm truly excited about this one. This is my brother. This is my business partner. He's author. He's a coach. He's an entrepreneur. I love what he's grown into. Mr. Byron Cole, welcome to the Moving Mountains podcast.
Thank you.
Mate.
Let me do an intro for myself because I'm not sure about that.
Okay, go for it.
Byron Cole, aka Mr. B Self-Made. I am a serial award-winning entrepreneur, business consultant and mentor, 2-time best-selling author, Sunday time best-selling author, in fact, and soon to be, let me put this in the ethos right now, right? New York Times best-selling author.
Come on.
And I'm an investor in people and businesses. I've sold multiple businesses now, and my passion is helping people achieve their dream, and I do that via mentoring.
Thank you. Thank you. That is a much better intro than I could have ever done. Bro, I love what you've grown into. I love what you've grown into. I mean, I've known you for nearly a decade now.
Yeah, it's been some time.
It's been some time. It's been some time. And I have seen you grow from an entrepreneur to now an author, to now a coach, to all of the things that you mentioned, multiple award winning.
Yeah.
When people look at people like you and me and they see the platforms that we're on now, they see what we're achieving now, they see what we're doing, they see everything that you're doing. For me, I like to go to the roots because all of this started from somewhere.
Yeah.
There was something somewhere in you're a London guy just like me.
Yeah.
Raised by a single mum.
Yeah.
There was something in that process that coined the person that you have now become. What was that for you?
Do you know what? I always had that entrepreneurial flair, honestly, right? So when I was in junior school, I remember we had a tuck shop. You can only buy something on a particular day.
Right.
But I would get somebody else to buy it for me, and I would sell it to everybody else who couldn't buy it for that day. So I always had it.
That hasn't changed.
When I was in secondary school, I would buy and sell sweets. When I was in college, I was buying and selling clothes and CDs. Then when I went to university, I was buying salvage cars, repairing it, selling it. And then, it goes on. But what I would say is one of my big motivational factors was, my sister, my younger sister had meningitis when she was 2. She had her hands and her feet amputated. Coming up in a single parent family was like, okay, I'm already providing, because I'm hustling, I'm doing okay, I'm doing my bit. I already had a home, and it was like, but okay, now I need to step up.
Yeah, I hear that.
Like, I need to provide financial freedom and comfort so that they can do whatever they want to do. So that was like the extra rocket that I needed. But I just always had that hustle in me. Like, my mum wouldn't beat me when I was a kid, right? But if she said to me, "You ain't getting no pocket money," I'm crying.
Right.
That was it. There's tears. So that was beatings for me, right?
Right.
So I always had that flair. I don't know where it came from or what seed it was, but I always had that in me. And then naturally, it just attracts other people in similar worlds. You just always, I believe in this stuff.
Yeah.
Like the energy, the people that I just so happen to just meet. Luck happens once.
Right.
All the time it happens to me.
I hear that. And for me, I know your story well enough to know that as successful as you appear now, as successful as you are now, when you're starting out, as with most people, you had an estate agency. That didn't work out well. That failed.
Absolutely.
Right. That failed.
Yeah.
And I shared on one of the podcasts, I shared on one of the episodes that if you want to be an entrepreneur, if you want to be successful at anything, you need to develop amnesia, right? You need to develop this state of mind where regardless of how many times you have failed in the past, you just have to find a way to keep going.
Absolutely.
Right. And you've done that. You've done that. You've gone again and again and again. Why keep going forward if you have failed?
So in our first book, we spoke about a process. So first of all, you have the vision, the plan, and you have the action. Then you have the reaction and the exit, right? So the reason why we talk about the reaction is because you always plan something to work.
Right.
It always.
Right.
We're spreadsheet millionaires, right?
Yes, right.
It always is going to work. And then you
one.
put the action in and you're like, it doesn't quite work like that. Let me adjust a little bit. Let me adapt. And I've found along my journey, we have to adapt all the time.
Yeah.
In order to be successful, the plan is never going to be what you thought it was. When you step your foot into it, that world, you're like, it wasn't like that when I did my research.
Yeah.
So you have to take the failure or the lessons, as I like to call it. No matter what, as long as you're in business, there's always going to be a lesson.
Absolutely. And you mentioned adaptation. The next question I was going to ask you was, what would be 3 lessons that you say you learned through that process? I guess the first one is adaptation. You have to learn to revise the plan. What would be
to adapt.
A couple more that you would add to that?
Having great people around you can accelerate the process of success.
So your environment.
So your environment. People you can call upon. Like when I start a project now, I never do it by myself. I always just have a +1.
Interesting.
Because it just means, because I'm busy already, if I have somebody else's mindset, even resources to then say, okay, this is what I'm going to do or we should do, it just makes life easier. So with Bianca, the wife, I always try and now we're trying to build our empire together. We've got so many investments, and so let me come back to the question, right?
Yeah.
So definitely working with great people definitely helps. You have to be resilient. Like failure will slap you.
Oof.
It will just remind you, hey, I'm here. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Facts.
It will remind you, and you know what? Not everybody's meant to share your vision. Because sometimes you can tell somebody something. It can be someone who has no malice. They don't get it. In your head, in your heart, in your mind, you know what you want to do, right? So it's not their job to and I say this as well, when it comes to marketing your product. We expect our friends and family to buy the product, right?
Right.
It's not their job.
Right.
So that's the Brucey bonus. But it's a really interesting thing to digress from the question. Because now when I produce a product or service, all my friends and family buy it.
Yeah.
But when I really, really needed it, and I appreciate them, but I provide good products and services for people that they want to buy.
But you've created that culture amongst your friends and your family.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I noticed that when I first became friends with you, I found it a bit weird. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay, go on.
I don't know if I've ever mentioned this to you,
Tell
but
me.
I grew up from a background where I didn't have a lot of men growing up when I was coming up. I had this mindset that it's me against the world. I need to make things happen by any means necessary.
Yeah.
And then when I met you, you'd invite me onto this car rally here. You'd invite me onto this networking event there. You'd invite me. I'm like, what does this Negro want from me? Like, honestly, first of all, why is he being so nice? Genuinely, I wasn't used to it. I wasn't used to it. And then a few months later, we're on a plane going to Ghana.
We went to Ghana.
But I found that's one of the skills that I have learned from you.
Yeah.
You have an amazing skill to be able to connect with people and be able to rally people into whatever it is that you're doing. And for me, when I look at the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, that's one of the key things that because nobody's an island, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
You are only as successful and can only reach as far as your network.
Absolutely.
And in the beginning, you and I would go to networking events, and he'd be like, "Yep, see ya," and he would literally drop me out the door, and he'll go one way, I'd go the other way. I found it so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Because going out and talking to new people was just not something that I had. Where did you learn that skill from? Is it just something that comes naturally to you? Is it something that?
In fact, I would rather networking is one of the things that everybody knows they should do, but hates doing it. And procrastinates doing it. Right. I am now having to do it. So I used to live in London. Well, still semi-live in London. Now I'm in Dubai. Yeah. And I'm now having to network again myself.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to this week I've been networking and stuff, and I'm back in the trenches again. Yeah. And it's uncomfortable. Yeah. Going by yourself, doing the old business cards and stuff like that. But to come back to the question, networking I think is one of my superpowers. And I always say it's about reciprocal networking. I don't want anything from you. So it's all about, okay, what can I do for you and what is it that you need? So asking very powerful questions. So when I'm networking, I say, what is the one thing that you need in order for your business to move forward or take it to the next step or whatever it may be? So you ask some particular questions and people are like, oh, nobody's ever asked me that. I'm like, yeah, because everybody just wants whatever they want from you, right?
Yep.
And people always just like, oh, do you know what? I never thought about that. In fact, I need this or need that. And I derive an income from networking. And it's because I ask that question to everybody and I can only offer a handful of services.
Right.
But within my network, I can offer so much more.
Exactly.
So you know what? You're trying to buy a yacht. I got a yacht broker over there. Let me just connect it, get 0.5%. And I'm not doing it for, because sometimes there's no money in it.
Right.
But reciprocal networking, it will always come back.
Right.
They'll always remember
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely.
And I'm not trying to, I'm just being a good human being and I'm just trying to connect people. So one of my friends who came from America this last week, he wrote me a card and he said, networking is one of my superpowers.
Yeah, I fully agree. And that's a very powerful question that you asked. Because in one of the episodes, I talked about the current state of the world and young people and a lot of people complaining about the lack of opportunity. And I have always said, a lot of people that I meet, they come with the question, what's in it for me? As opposed to how can I help?
Yeah.
Right. And I have similar experiences as you. You know, when I met Freedom, right, who has now become a friend, mentor, all of these things. It was around a place where a lot of people were asking how they could benefit from him. I have this thing, you should do this, you should buy from this, you should invest in this, And I simply, when I've said, I'm the guy who's going to make your life easier. Anything that you don't enjoy doing at this stage of your life,
tell me, I'll fix it.
Right.
Yeah, facts.
And he laughed about it.
Yeah.
But it got me close enough to be able to exchange information.
Yeah.
And then as time went on, he actually saw that, no, this guy was serious about it, to the point where even when I would go out with him, I wouldn't even let him pay for it because this is what he's used to doing. He comes around and he pays for everybody.
Yeah.
Well, I don't actually want, that's not what I want from you. I want to get into a space and a vicinity of people where I'm able to even glean from your wisdom. Because that is beyond, it's priceless. It's beyond money. Yeah. So what you stated there is super key.
Yeah.
It's super
key. Go
key.
giver. That's what I always say.
Yes, I love that. Go giver. I love that. And I think you mentioned that in your first book, in Self-Made. I will probably talk about the contrast between Self-Made and the Business Survival Kit in a minute, but I'll pick it out one by one. I'll let you break it down. The first book, Self-Made, was a lot more about business. It's a lot more about business.
Absolutely.
It's startup kit as you called it.
Yeah.
Of course, there's an absolute need for it because you needed to break things down and all of those things. But I'm on this journey with you. Before I even talk about the content of the book, I feel like we are living in a day and age where becoming a producer is important. Becoming an author is actually not reserved for a select few of people anymore.
I'll get there when you go on.
Well, shit, go there.
Look, when it comes to being an author, right? First of all, everybody's gone through something in their experience, right? Some people have trauma. Some people have experiences that they don't want other people to experience or suffer. Cool, they have a message. People think it's an autobiography. It's not. It's the message and the pain that they don't want somebody else to experience, right? So some people just have a message they want to share with the world. That was partly why I wanted to do it. I wanted a message that I can share with the world because there's thousands of people that I can't reach all around the world, right? And that's why I wanted to write the book. But also, there's an income side of it. So there's a passive income that you can have for the next 10 years from writing a book, whether it's on motivation, entrepreneurship, whatever it is. So you can have a passive income. And people don't know that, hey, your publisher will write you a check on day one. Yeah. Then you get a quarterly check. And I get 2 quarterly checks now. Yeah. The second book did better in the first month than the other one did in the first year. Right. But because we understood what we had to do this time. Yeah. And now we've got the third book. We got the offers are there.
Lovely.
But we want to make sure the deal is the right deal for us. Yeah. And the timeline is right. But I think most people should become an author. think about it this way: just from the UK, I understand it's potentially not being heard by people around the world, but the market for books in the UK is 5.5 billion. It's tens of billions.
That's a lot of money.
I can't remember the number. It's tens of billions worldwide, right? And the publishers need this content.
Right.
So yeah, the first book was about starting, growing, scaling, and developing your business. We didn't want the word startup in there, but that was kind of the negotiation, because it affects. There's things in that book that are not just part of about being a startup. People are far along their journey that we meet that still need help with their branding, that still need help with the exit, that still need help with so many different things, right? And then the second book is more about like real life stuff. Like, okay, now you got stress. Now you got anxiety. You might have that before you even start. You got external factors, so stakeholders, your partner, your manager, your children, that you got to navigate in this wild world of
real
life.
Real talk. Yeah.
And it's like now, and from mentoring hundreds of people, we start to see these reoccurring things. We're like, oh, we just thought it was us. Like, this is real life. Yeah. Like, this isn't just computer game that always, So the second book was that real life stuff. And then one of the things I love talking about, which is goal setting, because people never know how to goal set, right? So we talk about goal setting. And again, I think it's one of my superpowers in terms of teaching, because I love seeing the transformation. Most people, when they write goals, they just write a goal and then they make a vision board, and that's their 2-step process. And I say to people, give me 3 more. What else do you do? They're like, that's it. Like, we've made a start. That's okay. But there's many steps in, that practical steps that you should take.
You're here, bro. Planning. We're talking about it. Give us those practical steps. This is free mentoring program.
They're in the business survival here. Yeah, so check it out on Amazon. But I'll give you a couple, right?
Yes, come on.
So I always say, first of all, you can't hit a goal that you can't see, right? So clarity is very, very important. But let me
say that again.
Let me
you can't hit a goal that you can't see.
You can't, right?
Jot that down.
So clarity is so important.
Absolutely.
And your goal should be so crystal clear. You should be able to send it to a factory here in Dubai, and it should be manufactured and sent back, right? So being happy is not a goal. Being rich is not a goal. Right. Crazy people have these things, right? This is not a goal. It's not measurable. So another thing, let's make it measurable. Let's put a date on it. So when do you need to hit this goal by? Right? And people put 2022. That's not a goal, right? That's just very, very broad.
Very broad, yeah.
Okay, so we need to
be very specific.
We need to be very specific on what we're doing. Okay, now let's one of the things I like working on is, who do you need to have in this? Who do you need to know or have to achieve the goal? And sometimes you're like, I don't need anybody. No, but if you had this person, how could they accelerate this journey to success? Right? And then I say, okay, what are the obstacles? Because you may have already, if you didn't have an obstacle, you may have already hit this goal already. Right? So what are the obstacles? List it down. Use the 80-20 rule for all of this. So that was the one thing I learned in university. The 80-20 rule is real. Yeah. You're going to get 8% of your result from 20% of what you put in, right? So look at all the obstacles. And these are just some of the very simple steps that you need to take. And one of the things I love doing is I like the visual side of it. So, talk about the mood board and stuff like that. But I like to make it more practical and tangible, right? So it's like, if you want to own a Bugatti, go and experience what that feels like to see, touch, feel, sit in, drive. Absolutely. Because the mind will create vivid emotions, the endorphins that will be released when you touch that and feel it. You're going to be like, the subconscious mind is going to push you forward, right?
Absolutely.
I'll give you one more. So always write the goal as if you already have received it. Yeah. I have, I do, I earn. And this again pushes the subconscious mind. And one of the reasons why we say write it down, not on your iPhone, not anywhere else, I say write it down, because the subconscious mind again is pushing you forward. And what we always say, the reason why we always don't write things down is because you're it never really happened, right? If I didn't write it down and I failed, it didn't really happen. Yeah. But put it in an envelope, seal it, put it tangible. Put it somewhere, give it to your brother, your sister, say send it back to me in 12 months. Yeah. So there's a couple of steps for you. There's 7 steps in the book, but there's 20 steps if you really want to go deeper. But there's 7 practical steps in the book.
I absolutely love it. I mean, there's so many directions. I've got 100 questions that I want to follow up with.
Go.
I'm going to back it back up. I'm going to back it up to the being an author part. Yeah. Because just right now we're living in a time where everybody has a Twitter account, everybody has an Instagram profile, everybody has a Facebook profile, everybody has a brand.
Yeah.
Everybody has a personal brand. Everybody has a platform to be able to share their opinion and be able to talk about the things that they're talking about. And people are starting to realize that, you know what? I have some knowledge that the world needs to hear. Even if it's not the world that needs to hear, my immediate circle of network can glean from this thing, and I can grow it. And most importantly, solidify myself as an authority in the subject that I want to talk about. Yeah. And I understand, I know this question, and I feel this pain very, very much because I have been there recently in my own journey of writing my book. What would be the first 3 or 4 steps that you would ask somebody who has never written a book before to take in order to be able to make that transition to become an author?
So first of all, let's make sure that that there is a pain point. So, okay, talking about from my perspective, what problem are you solving? Yeah, or what is your audience going to gain from reading this? There should be a tangible kind of exchange, because people want results. People want to laugh. They want. What is it that you're trying to do here?
Yeah. What problem are you trying to solve?
What problem are you trying to solve? Right. What makes your book different?
Yeah.
Now, I introduced somebody I know in my network to my publishers recently, and that was the question they asked back. And it's a bit of a trick question, right? But if you can articulate why this is different, fantastic. But sometimes you don't have to.
Yeah.
But it's a good training exercise. One of the things I'll also say is, look, when you're going through the book journey, you do not need to write the book in its entirety in order to get an offer from a publisher.
Right.
Because they want to be involved in the journey.
Right.
So sometimes people write the book and they're like, hey, and they're like, yeah, but because remember, who knows the market better?
Right. The publisher does.
Right. So what I always say is write the proposal first. So we have a book proposal template, and you prepare the template, and then you.
This is also in the book?
It's not in the book. We have an online course about it, but I'll tell it now.
Yeah.
And so there's a template, and it gives you an outline of what you should put in, and then you can use LinkedIn and various places to look for a literary agent, or you can go direct and so on. There's various techniques, right? So complete the proposal. Like make a proposal. Just think of it this way, because you guys can't see it. Just think of it this way. It's a business proposal for your book.
Yes.
Why would people want to read it?
Yeah.
What does the market look like? Who's your competitors? And competitors are good in this world.
Mm-hmm.
So normally your competitors are like, you don't always want competitors in some industries, but some industries is good because it shows there's a market.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yep.
Now that one's been read 100 million times. Now what's new? What's fresh?
Absolutely.
How many marketing books are we going to be reading for the next 100 years?
Right.
How many business books? It's not going to be that revolutionary. Like, come on. It's just a new approach, a new way of thinking, right?
Yep.
So there's some very practical steps which people can take to become an author. And there's so many reasons to be an author, like, your personal brand is great. Credibility, it increases your price. You can become a speaker, you become a trainer, you can do online workshops. You just want your message to be seen by the world. There's loads and loads of reasons to be an author. And it's like, especially for entrepreneurs, I always say this, look, you may not, or even if you're not an entrepreneur, look, you may not want to write a book.
Everybody is either an entrepreneur or an intrapreneur. You're selling something.
Multiple streams of income is a must. Entrepreneurship is not a must.
Thank you, Lord.
Multiple streams of income is a must.
Go listen to my Motivational Mondays. Please do.
So get that extra income, and if it's via a book, then fantastic.
Yes, absolutely. Let me ask you this. I've had to ask myself this recently, simply because we're involved in so many different things. What do you want to achieve? What is your why at this stage of your life?
So before it was commercial, like it was money.
Yeah.
Like I was motivated by money.
Yes.
But what makes me really happy, you learn this along the journey sometimes, helping people and seeing people thrive and actually I see transition. Like this is the thing with mentoring, right?
Stop. You need to go and listen to my Motivational Mondays.
Oh, really?
Honestly.
We say the same thing.
I'm saying the same thing.
Bro, listen, from mentoring hundreds of people now, I've seen this having transformations in their life, in their family's life.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing them prosper, and I'm like, oh yeah. And that makes me happy.
Yes.
And they come to me with a problem, and I can solve the problem, and yes, I get paid for it.
Absolutely.
And
that's a great byproduct.
And that's okay.
Yes, that is absolutely fine.
I went to see Brian Tracy, the OG, in March, right? And I was on a 3.5-day workshop with him and 9 other people. And I got two things. It was a speaker's workshop. I got two things from that speaker's workshop. Number one, I don't want to be a speaker.
Right.
I'm a trainer. It's a different form of speaking. Yeah,
okay.
I'm a trainer. I love teaching people so that they have outcomes, and I can talk about my journey fine. And the other thing was to be unapologetic about the fact that I'm happy to make money for a skill that I'm very good at.
Absolutely.
And I was just like, yeah, because sometimes we dance around. Like, I'm good. If you have me in your life, you're going to accelerate your journey much faster than without me, right?
Facts.
So there's only a finite amount of time that I have in this life. So if you want to spend it with me, I can give you some free content. You can go here, go here, go here. But if you want me to transform your life in the speed that I can do it, so you don't have to make the mistakes and go through the pain that I went through, listen, this is the cost. So being unapologetic about what I do and how I can transform people's lives and get paid for the pleasure.
Absolutely. And this is a very important realization to come to, because, you know, I've been in business 15 years. You've been in business, you know, even a little bit longer. If you're coming to me with my 15 years of track record and success and wisdom and expertise and trial and error and things that you are now going to be able to avoid as a result of having me in your corner, why would you not pay for that? It is priceless. There isn't an actually amount of money. There isn't a price, a justifiable figure that I can actually attribute to that experience, to that wisdom and that knowledge that you're gaining.
100%.
And that's very key. It's the quickest way to accelerate success in everything that you're doing.
Reduce your stress, accelerate success, get better results. And if I can find somebody who knows more than me in a particular industry, then please come. I will pay you. Just let me learn and understand. So absolutely.
It's very interesting that you said you've come to realize that you're a trainer and not a speaker. Again, similar journey that I'm on. And I don't want to be a speaker.
Yeah.
I don't even want to be a trainer.
Okay. No, but I like the outcomes.
Yeah, no,
so that's why I like the training.
Yeah, I love the outcomes, but I'm just thinking out loud and sharing this. You can make this a live mentoring experience for the audience if you want. But I know what I have in terms of my experience, my knowledge, my wisdom. I know what the outcome is that I want to be able to give to humanity from what I have here. Genuinely, I don't really care for traveling. I mean, look, if you want to invite me to come and speak, I'm not deterring you from doing that. By all means, do get in touch.
Yeah.
But it's not what my heart beats for.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Once upon a time, I thought, being a speaker and going around and talking about, and we had this conversation maybe even 5 years ago, about going around and having and talking to people and all of this stuff. I don't want to do that in person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I simply just want to use new media.
Yeah.
Get my message across.
Yeah.
And get it out there.
And times have changed.
Yes.
There's no more the days of football stadiums full of people that will listen to your message because they got the internet.
Absolutely.
So times have changed. And it's a very unique skill. Like Bianca has a very unique skill set. And I was kind of thinking of that film there. What was it called? Laura, what film was it?
No.
When he goes, unique skill set. That makes me a nightmare. I don't know what
I don't know what the film is.
Anyway, so like speaking, I can speak, but the level of...
There are levels.
There's levels.
Yes, there are levels.
There's levels. So Bianca, her level's on another level.
Yeah.
I'm like...
Yeah.
Let me go. That's why I was like, let me go and get training from like another OG to be like, to try and level up. Yeah. And then that's when I had my realization I don't want to do this.
But also that's an important point for people to notice. You're not always innately good at the things that you want to pursue.
Yeah.
If somebody possesses it and it can be learnt, it's a skill.
Yeah.
And you simply need to apply yourself and position yourself to be able to go and acquire those skills.
Yeah.
And you're going to be doing that. I did one of the episodes I was talking about learning beyond formal education.
Yeah.
Because I feel like the majority of my learning, I'm currently not a result of the formal education that I had.
Absolutely. That's what the new book's about.
Well, tell us more.
The deal isn't done yet, but it's about what they didn't teach you in school, about money and finance. In short.
Yeah.
That may be the title. Who knows? But there's so many things that when you go to school, they just don't teach you about money. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
How does that make sense? They don't teach you about money and finance. They tell you to go to university though to get
a job.
to go and get a job, but also to go and borrow money. They just give you a form. No one explains it to you. They just go here, sign this one. You're gonna owe us X amount. You'll be paying that off until.
Do you know how many people message me and don't know they've signed a loan document and it says you're paying 2.5% APR and they don't even know what APR is.
It's crazy, but it's not their fault.
It's not their fault.
It's not their fault, and there is a big need, and that's why the third book is going to come out, and we'll probably do that deal within the next couple of weeks.
I'm glad you're doing that book because again, on the recent episode of the podcast, I talk about investing as a necessity in 2022. Like your income from either your business or your job is insufficient. Like if you are, what they don't teach you in school, they teach you in school to be able to go and get a job.
Absolutely.
Ideally a good paying job to be able to, so that you can afford the lifestyle that you want. But what they don't tell you is that in doing that, you are falling into a trap where if you have to use your active capital, your active earnings to be able to fund your lifestyle, you are setting yourself up for failure.
Yeah, absolutely.
And investing is not just for Wall Street bankers and people who work in the city as city traders anymore. It is a necessity. The same way I likened it as in you grow, you learn to read and write, you learn to swim, and then you learn to invest.
Absolutely.
Because
everyone, whether you're an entrepreneur, 9 to 5, you must invest.
Absolutely.
100%.
Absolutely. And these are some of the things that I have discussed with you as the years have gone on. What are some of the investment strategies that you adopt? Let's go with, share with us 3 or 4 investment strategies that you adopt that make you passive income that other people can tap into.
I was going to talk about some new stuff that are going to get me a bit excited.
Well, bring me in.
I recently invested into a tech business, and I'm just thinking, I'm not sure what's out there, what's not out there. But it's you know when you get the verification on your phone that says, "This is you that made this transaction."
Yeah,
it was by the co-founder of that company, and he's basically doing this again. And he gave me. When I say I had to beg him, this is what you talk about networks, right?
Yeah.
I had to beg him to bring me in, to let me to listen. You cannot do this again,
right?
And not take my money.
Bring me in.
Yeah,
I feel you.
This is ridiculous. Last time was 75x.
Yeah, crazy.
75x,
crazy.
and now, listen. Anyway, that gets me excited, right? And I've got so many different investments. I'm buying more property in the UK, but in terms of strategy, I think now.
Just 3 strategies that the average person who may not have tens or hundreds of thousands to be able to start investing. If somebody is starting, let's say there's a 25-year-old out there who's starting on their investment journey. You've got £5,000 to £10,000 saved.
Invest in yourself first of all. Oof. If you got 5 to 10K, stop worrying about trying to make 5% in the stock market. Yeah, stop worrying about trying to invest in all these crypto and all these things, right? If you've got 5 to 10K, you need to invest in your skill, invest in yourself so you have another skill. If you've got another skill, that's going to make you more money.
Okay.
Crypto and some of these other things, in my opinion, is for a bit more, not advanced, but that medium to advanced level where losing 10 grand and it's not your only 10 grand.
Right.
Because sometimes this is their only 10 grand, right? And they're watching it going up and down, left, right, and center. You can't do that. Because now that's not making you passive income. Right. That's 10 years away. Or whenever that's going to, the bubble's going to go there and make that money for you. So first of all, invest in yourself. Like you've got to invest in yourself. For me, I'm looking at investments that are aligned with the things that I do in my audience. So for entrepreneurs and alike. And things that bring me as little stress as possible. Right. Like for me, that's like a criteria. Okay, how much stress is this going to give me? Right. And I keep gambling and betting on people, and sometimes you got to be really smart about who you bet on, who you gamble on. Yeah. And sometimes it's heart over head. We always have this conversation, me and a couple of my business partners. But that'll be my first bit of advice, people. Like invest in yourself first. If we're talking about, look, you got small amount, there's all kinds of things. And let me give disclaimer. I'm not financial advisor. Right. But look, you can look at just if you're in the UK, the common things like national savings and investment. It give you a steady return. You can do premium bonds. You can go in the stock market. There's so many little things you can do. But if you've got that little amount, you need it to multiply, and it's
Right.
not multiplying in the way you need it to multiply by putting it in stocks and shares or crypto or NFTs. These are great, fantastic things. Everybody should have, but it depends on when. Like timeline. 5K is interesting. So that would be, my advice to the people.
I hear you on that. I mean, look, you already know I'm a big advocate for crypto.
Yeah,
and all
I know.
and all of these things. But I also 100% agree. Look, investing in yourself, i.e. acquiring the necessary knowledge and skill. Look, even becoming an investor in and of itself is a skill.
Yeah.
Right? So if you have very little to put in, the first thing to do is to sit under somebody.
Yeah.
Get a mentor, go on a course, to do something that will be able to
Absolutely.
help you acquire that knowledge,
Fast.
sharpen that tool, and then go out there and be more effective. So I absolutely love that. You've got this big mentoring program that you've got on.
Yes.
Now you've got the Self-Made Network.
Yes.
You have mentored hundreds of people.
Yes.
Who I love to see the reviews when they come out, because it's inspiring. It's inspiring. It's exciting. It's amazing to be able to say from the beginning that, listen, I said you were going to scale your business within a certain space of time and have gone on to be able to do it. As you were doing that, for business owners, entrepreneurs, self-employed, what are the three common mistakes that you have noticed among these people, and what can our listeners do to be able to resolve it?
Yeah, great question. Wow, just three.
Make it cool. 5 then.
So people come because they have an idea or they have a business that they just can't get more customers from. So they just have something that they know they want to push forward. So first of all, I always say this, and we talk about the personal branding piece. People buy from people they like, trust, looks like them, sound like them.
Facts.
Right?
People buy into you first.
Absolutely. So people that want to sit behind the computer and keyboard and stuff like that and just let somebody else be the face of it, sometimes it can work. But most of the time it doesn't work. And people will buy from you if they like you and trust you. So if you look at my brand now, if I go tomorrow and start doing hair butters, people are not going to think anything strange by it. Like, because they know I'm an entrepreneur and I'm going to do something. They're just waiting for the next thing.
Right.
So really work on your personal brand. It's very important. One of the tools I really like is LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a very powerful tool which allows you to reach people, and people don't utilize that platform
enough.
Yeah. I use it if I'm traveling. I connect with the hotel managers.
Right.
Yeah? So I use it whether you're a 9-to-5 or an entrepreneur. LinkedIn is a powerful tool. The profile must be completed in its entirety. Yeah, that's the short version of long story.
Yeah,
the rest of it's important.
in the book. That's
right?
key. Yeah.
And use that tool to connect with new people and so on and so forth. And get out there and network. Get out there and meet people. I always say, first of all, most startups will get their business from referral, right? So if you're not going out there to meet new people, like who's going to buy your product?
Right.
Who's going to buy your services?
Right.
3 times a week. I remember to go back to the boss, the missus, when she went out there and started her business. I was already in business, and she was hustling 3 times a week without me. Like, she was going. I was like, I always admired the graft, because I had my own things going on.
Yeah.
But I've been there already, so it's like 3 times a week is the standard minimum. But now, guess what we got? We got Zoom.
Yeah.
You can do networking on Zoom.
Yeah.
You can meet more people faster. You can go around the room faster. Yeah. It's incredible. So like now, there's no excuses.
Right.
Like not to accelerate your journey success. Expand your network. Meet great people. And something always happens when people, when we're mentoring, they go, "Oh, I need money," and I'm like, "Excellent. How much do you need?" I'm not sure yet. Okay, great. What we do now? Okay,
know your numbers.
Yeah, know your numbers. Right, it's important. And what do you want your money for? And the next thing people say, what their money for is they say marketing. I'm saying no one's going to give you money for marketing, because what happens with any investor, or any seasoned investor, when you say you want to put the money into marketing, you say, has it worked before? He said, I don't know. You have this theory in your mind that by spending money on marketing, you're going to be successful. Not correct. Right? You're going to burn a lot of money. So how deep are your pockets?
Right.
Because you're going to do things that are not going to work.
Yeah.
So spending money on marketing is not the answer, and not what any investor wants to hear. Marketing is, if you're spending money on marketing, it should be used to accelerate your journey, because you've done something, you tried, you tested it, it works. Now you need more money to spend on it because it's working.
Right.
But people are like, yeah, I'm going to do a bit of this. That's the easy part. Okay, yeah. You think it's the easy part. Like, this is not the case. So that's some of the advice I'll give to people. Like, yeah, you need marketing, but you need to test it. You need to test it works. And people are spending money on ads and they're spending £100 and £30 and £50. Stop wasting your time because you don't know. It's unmeasurable.
Yeah.
You don't know if you spent £100, you don't know if it worked because you're already doing all these other micro things. So by spending £100 on ad to boost it, first of all, that I don't want to get cancelled by some social media, but it's a waste of time. But I spend tens of thousands of pounds on marketing. Hopefully everybody watching this has seen one of my ads and it's annoyed them because we spending tens of thousands of pounds on advertising. I want you to see me everywhere, okay?
Yeah.
But that's the only way that you can do it is by, for one webinar, we're spending 20K, 30K to get you in that webinar, right? So when you're spending £100, it's unmeasurable.
So for a startup, so somebody who's starting up, they don't have 10,000, 20,000, 30K to spend on a marketing campaign.
Yeah.
So they're going out there and they're meeting people. What else can they do?
Give me give me 2 business examples and I'll make it more practical.
Let's talk about the hair products, for example, that we've talked about these days. Somebody's got a hair care line.
Excellent. So the first thing is like, get it out to your friends and family. Get some testimonials. Yeah. Get some outcomes. See some proof. If possible, be your own user of your own product, right? In this instance, that's allowed. Yeah. So use the product. Just showcase it. Show people that it is great. Can get you from X to Y. People like to see journeys, right? And if you use this product, you can also get these results as well. Social media is a really, really great space for you to do that, right?
Absolutely, and it's free.
It's free. Yeah. But don't just talk about the outcomes and the testimonials. Like, give me some stats and facts as well. Let's change it up. So, okay. Did you know that X amount of women suffer from this breakages or this, or by using this particular product, this has, I don't know, it's got, give me a food type, I don't know.
It's got yeast.
No, give me something a bit more exotic. Like, it's got pineapple in it, yeah? Right. It's got pineapple in it, and pineapple, when it touches the hair, it does this. Like, about sure. The ingredients, statistics, facts. Get users, so influencers, people want free products, so there's loads of influencers there, right? So now reach out to them, and it's not a bit more harder these days than it used to be, but there are micro influencers out there that will have your product, and if they like the results, they'll talk about it, right? Yeah. So using those influencers is an incredible way to move forward. So these are some very, very simple things that you can do. Now, I love SEO. Like when I grew up, it feels like a long time ago. Like I was obsessed with SEO, search engine optimization, which is basically allows you to get on the first page of Google free of charge, right? And I used to read websites in code, so I still do. I still go to source and I read it in code. Right? That's me.
No, you don't,
bro. That's what.
You know what? I do that.
I do that because I'm like, hang on, how are you on the first page of Google? What are you doing? And then I found this source code, and I'm like, now I just look at the source code like a tech geek, and I'm just like, that's what you did. And I go to all my competitors, and then I take the best average, and okay, this is what you're using for your meta tag, your meta description. Your web developer, when he created your site, he didn't do any 9 out of 10. So there are some good ones, so don't get in your feelings. But 9 out of 10 of them will not work on your meta tags, your meta description.
Majority of people are using Shopify and Wix anyway. This doesn't come with that.
Right. Yeah. So now you need to put that in there because Google reads your website via code.
Right.
So what is it reading? It's not reading the image. Even naming the image is so important, right? So we can be here all year. I can be breaking this down, but like these are some of the things that you fall upon. I'll give you some top tips. Like so. And we talk about this in one of our webinars that we used to do. So when you start your business, one of the things people always make the mistakes, they just buy their .co.uk website or their .com, right? And you're not protecting your brand. You're doing your brand a disservice. Get your .co.uk, your .uk, your .com, right? You protect your brand because what's going to happen is as you start to grow and accelerate, somebody's going to buy it, right? And they're going to sell it back to you. They're going to hold your ransom. Yes. Let's say there's something detrimental that they're going to post. They're going to be an inferior product or service. Like, do not become a victim.
Right. And it's happening more and more.
More and more.
More and more.
So make sure all your social medias are uniform. So when I finish here today, I don't have to go and give you 3 different social media handles. It's all the same, uniform across all platforms.
While we're talking about social media, how can the viewers connect? How can the viewers, listeners, everybody connect with you?
First of all, LinkedIn, Byron Cole, just type my name in. Yeah, I'm nearly at the limit, 30,000 connections, so get in there now.
Amazing.
And Instagram is my main place where I'm at. So if you go to Instagram, type in Mr. B Self-Made, that's where you'll find me. And yeah, that's where we connect. And it is really me who replies. I don't sleep much. So yeah.
Yeah, I noticed that too. Listen, the gems that have been dropped on this episode. And the funny thing is, yeah, you and I can go on for another 45 minutes with this. And what I absolutely love and appreciate is the fact that when people come to you, they're coming to somebody who knows their stuff.
Yes.
You know your stuff, you know the experience, the wisdom, the knowledge is there, and it's just flowing out. Even in this short space of time that we've been talking, I'm sure the gems that the listeners have been receiving from it is absolutely incredible. Yes, your self-made network.
The self-made network. So what is it? The self-made network is, first of all, a place that you can get information from industry experts. So within our network, we have people that we use for funnels. We have people we use for websites, everything, right? So how can you access them without paying a fortune? Self-made network.
Got it.
Where do you network monthly online? The self-made network.
Got it.
Where do you have a community, your tribe? Self-made network. So we have a Telegram group. I'm in it personally. We have a Facebook group. I'm in it as well, but I don't use Facebook as much. But Telegram, I'm on there. Like right now, my phone's lighting up. Telegram, I'm going to reply straight away. And it's $24.97, right? We are having quarterly price increases. So I know this product should be, and once you lock in at that price, first of all, 21-day free trial.
Nice.
And once you lock in at that price, that's your price for life, right?
Nice.
I'm only going to do this for 5 years because I want to bring all of the people that are helping me grow my business and take my business to the next level. I'm like, can you deliver a session on that?
Yeah. Make them
Can you
accessible.
deliver a session on that?
Yeah.
And they're like, for you, Byron, yeah, cool. Yeah. And to access, listen, I'm paying tens of thousands of pounds to some of these consultants, right? So at the moment, my new thing at the moment is funnels and ads and stuff like that. So I'm learning from these guys. And some people in my network, they're having £1 million days. And I'm like, okay, I need to crack this. Like, I need to understand this. Like, I'm looking at different things now and you know, the webinars and so on and so forth. And like, I have a team, 2 different teams consulted. They're not part of my team, but they are external consultants. Yeah. And I'm paying them thousands of pounds every single month. And I'm like, can you do the session for me? They're like, yeah. Can you do the session on lead mags? Yeah. So you're getting that for like 20 odd quid, 30 odd quid eventually, depending on when you jump on board, right? And that is an incredible thing that we're working on. We're growing it, and people are.
And that's selfmadenetwork.com?
No, this one is grow.selfmadenetwork.uk. Yeah. Okay. Or just go to my Instagram at Mr. B Selfmade. It'll be on there. Or byroncole.uk, and you'll be able to find it. But that is, so now I'm just trying to give people the information for as little as possible. Yeah. What do we spend £20 on now that doesn't bring us any value?
Starbucks.
And if you miss, there you go, exactly. And if you miss the session, guess what? It's available on record the next day. And you can access that whenever you want. So the Self-Made Network is now my baby. It's top of my priority list. I'm now working on it to bring even more incredible speakers and contributors, and the learning is incredible. But just think of it this way. If you was going to a networking event once a month, what would that cost you in travel? Right. Dry cleaning, getting your hair done, your nails done. Yeah. Listen, I'm still going to the salon to get manicure and pedicure too, right? So look, that is what, so that alone, and it's online. So now you're in a room and you're meeting people. We have a session next week, and it's like every week every month you have one session a month. Every month you're meeting new people and you're networking around the room. It's absolutely excellent. So that's my baby at the moment. I'm really enjoying it, and it's a way that people can get mentoring for as little as possible. I'm doing a session on there on how to raise 25k and above from crowdfunding. Amazing. So we did a crowdfunding session for our mentees, and we had about 12 mentees for the first session. Raise over 10k.
Amazing. And if people are signing on now, do they get access to a backlog of content?
Absolutely. All the ones that have already gone,
amazing,
they're accessible now.
Fantastic.
And if you really want to do me a disservice, you can just sign up, enjoy all the content, and just cancel. It's up to you.
Right.
But I know that the value that what we're bringing is so great.
And for £25, it's a no-brainer as well.
It's a no-brainer.
It's an absolute
Even if you don't get there for 2 months, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really cool.
Listen, bro, I love you.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you for coming on the show.
Yes.
I mean, listen, the gems that you're dropping, I absolutely love and appreciate it. I'm going to reevaluate a few things in my own life after this. But listen, guys, I really, really do hope that you grasp it. You probably need to listen to this episode over and over again because the gems are so many, so much. And regardless of where you are in your journey, whether you're a startup, whether you are now, whether you're further along in your business, whether you're working a 9 to 5, there is something here for you to gain. Moving Mountains with Michael O. Thank you for tuning in. See you next time. All new episodes drops every Monday and Wednesday, available on all platforms.